This is Dr. Red Panda.
Do you know why animals have estrus cycles while humans don't? Do you know why human females conceal their ovulation period? And are these two questions related to the sweet love that exists between humans? I'm Dr. Red Panda, and in the following video, I will explore the answers to these three questions. What is estrus cycle? The estrus period is a detailed explanation of the period when animals are in heat, from the time they become willing to mate to the point of refusing mating. This period typically occurs at a specific time within a year. During this time, sexually mature female mammals exhibit reproductive cycle phenomena primarily manifested physiologically by ovulation, preparation for fertilization, and pregnancy. Behaviorally, it is characterized by attraction to and acceptance of the opposite sex. Even the appearance of certain animals can undergo some changes. For example, female baboons, when entering the estrus period, experience swelling of their buttocks and a vivid red coloration. Their bodies also emit a distinctive scent, and some may intentionally engage in provocative actions towards male baboons. Once the estrus period is over, female animals immediately enter a chaste mode, becoming uninterested and no longer accepting any requests from male animals for mating. Why do animals have estrus? Surviving in the perilous realm of nature has never been an easy task. Hunting for sustenance alone demands a significant investment of time and energy from animals. The continuous pursuit of sexual activities could divert attention, lower vigilance, and make them susceptible to predation by other hunters. Moreover, while successfully conceiving offspring is crucial, investing considerable time without achieving pregnancy is a futile effort. Therefore, a shorter and more efficient reproductive timeframe is unequivocally advantageous. This phenomenon elucidates why most male animals are quick finisher. Conversely, after the establishment of a fixed ovulation period, the majority of female animals promptly exhibit various signs of estrus. Male animals swiftly comprehend that the time for procreation has arrived, enabling them to wholeheartedly commit to the crucial task of perpetuating their lineage in a one-time effort. Regarding whether humans have an estrus cycle, if we compare it to the mating behaviors exhibited by animals during their estrus cycles, it's clear that humans do not have a specific estrus cycle. In female animals, the estrus cycle corresponds to the ovulation period during which they experience a desire for mating. However, human females exhibit sexual desire and engage in sexual activity regardless of whether they are in their ovulation phase or not. If we use an electrocardiogram to represent it, the sexual desire of female animals will surge violently in a certain month and then drop instantly after reaching the highest point. After that, the shape of the electrocardiogram looks like the heartbeat stops, becoming a straight line with a value of 0. But the sex and electrocardiogram of human females always show a small amplitude wave, which means that they do not produce obvious psychological fluctuations except for those extremely fanatic women who want to have a baby for their favorite star. But if we look at sexual behavior and ovulation, this human species is in estrus 365 days a year, anytime and anywhere. If we take this as estrus, then where does such a long estrus period of human beings come from? Are human beings not afraid of suddenly popping out a tiger, leopard, wolf, or something when they are doing it? What if they have erectile dysfunction? Why humans lack estrus? Multiple hypotheses. Please note that the following hypotheses have not been scientifically proven, but are just various speculations by many researchers on human estrus. The first hypothesis is that due to the positive feedback of sex and the various reasons of mutual need and hunting alliance, the two sexes chased each other in the estrus time and eventually became longer and longer, completely occupying the entire estrus gap so that humans became the only mammal that can estrus continuously. The second hypothesis believes that the disappearance of estrus is the use of fire by primitive humans. Some scholars believe that it is precisely because of the use of fire to regulate the local climate and seasons and change the human living environment that human females have obtained the living conditions beyond nature for the disappearance of estrus. There are also scholars who believe that using fire to roast cooked food made humans get rid of the era of uncivilized. Cooked food regulated the relationship between human physique and nature, promoted human development and maturity, and provided physical guarantee for the disappearance of female estrus. The third hypothesis believes that human females losing estrus, or called extending estrus, is a very smart evolutionary choice. They believe that in ancient times, humans also chose to breed when food was most abundant, but because humans had a wide range of food, they could get food without choosing a fixed time and place during migration, so human ovulation cycle was very short. Because only in this way humans could directly breed when they arrived at the time and place where food was abundant, thus expanding the human group rapidly. The above are several prevailing hypotheses regarding the lack of estrus in humans. I welcome everyone to share your opinions in the comments. However, it is undeniable that the estrus period in humans has indeed lengthened, regardless of which hypothesis is adopted. Why do human females conceal their ovulation period? Speaking of this question, we have to mention the most critical step that females have done in the process of evolution: concealing ovulation. From the perspective of other animals, human concealment of ovulation is indeed a very funny thing. Because after human females hide their ovulation, they also have to use various tools or even count their fingers to calculate their ovulation, and the accuracy rate is often not high. This leads to the phenomenon that human society often wants to conceive but can't, and wants to avoid pregnancy but wins the jackpot. Since the disadvantages of concealing ovulation are so obvious, why do human females still choose to do so? Ideally, males produce sperm, females produce eggs, and then both sides cooperate to raise offspring, which is the optimal solution for reproduction. But in the process of evolution, the fertilized eggs were not given an independent space, but instead made the females the main force of giving birth to the cubs. As a result, the males occupied an advantage in the process of reproduction. Why do we say that? Because we can see in nature that many animals do not need male investment to raise their offspring. Simply put, many male animals are scumbags. They have a very simple thing to do: spread their seeds wildly and then leave. As for raising offspring, sorry, I have no time. This also causes many animals to be no different from having a dead father when they are just born, or even before they are born. As the saying goes, they are born by their mother but not raised by their father. Then the question arises, why can animals live without fathers, but human females choose to conceal their ovulation and keep their children's father by their side? In the final analysis, it is because the cubs of Homo sapiens are too fragile. In nature, many mammalian fetuses only come to the world after they are fully developed. After they are born, they can quickly stand and run to avoid predators. For example, cows, horses, and sheep are like this. But humans have put all their points on intelligence in the talent tree. This makes human heads bigger and bigger. At the same time, for various reasons, humans chose to walk upright. This also made the female pelvis and birth canal narrower, which made it easier to cause dystocia. So, humans had to choose another way of giving birth, that is, to give birth to the baby before it was fully developed and then raise it in the outside world. Human babies became premature, and the mortality rate also became higher. In order to make the children grow up smoothly, women had to spend more time and energy to take care of them. But even so, there is still the possibility of dying young. To digress, ideally, human cubs should be like Hercules, not to mention that he killed 2 giant snakes as soon as he was born. At least he should be able to run and jump and call his parents when he was born. And in order to improve the survival rate of the baby and not let him die so early, human females chose to evolve into concealed ovulation. For example, the male investment hypothesis believes that females conceal their ovulation in order to obtain male help in raising offspring. The reason is actually very simple. Once the female has no obvious signs of estrus, the male does not know whether the female has ovulated or not, which means that the male does not know whether the female has conceived his child or not. Therefore, in order to ensure that the female can conceive his child, the male has to mate with the same female multiple times. In addition, according to some scholars' cuckoldry hypothesis, without the characteristics of estrus, the male will face an ultimate problem whether other males have cuckolded me. If the female has estrus, then the male only needs to mate with her during her estrus and then prevent other males from approaching, because as long as the estrus is over, the female will have no interest in other males. But once the female loses her estrus, everything is hard to say. The female may mate with other males at any time and place, then it is debatable whether the child is his own or not. Therefore, the male has to guard the female by his side in order to prevent being intervened by a third party. And the newborn cubs finally know what their dear father looks like. In summary, because of the reproductive difficulties brought by the difficulty of raising offspring, females evolved to extend their estrus and conceal their ovulation, thus keeping their children's father by their side to take care of themselves and raise their children together, while men also clarified their paternity relationship and chose to invest in their offspring in order to make their genes continue. American biologist Athena Actibes said, "For years, I have been puzzled by the male investment hypothesis, so I started to study how to test it. And the study of female social activity shocked me because females may bully other females who show signs of ovulation, so concealing ovulation can bring benefits. In addition, many scholars have found that this situation may also be related to the decline of female status and intrasexual competition. When the tribal leader has multiple wives, the pregnant ones may be excluded by others, so from a certain perspective, female concealment of ovulation may be to guard against other females. This is very obvious in many palace dramas, where smart people in the early stages of pregnancy rarely make a fuss, but wait until the fetus is stable before announcing the news. Some scholars also believe that humans conceal their ovulation in order to reduce the occurrence of infanticide. The scholars who proposed this view were inspired by the bonobos, a kind of animal like lions and chimpanzees, that once a new leader ascended the throne, the first thing he did was to kill the cubs of the previous one. This is because animals generally do not estrus during lactation, that is, lactation and ovulation do not coexist. In order to make their genes continue, they have to make the females interrupt lactation, estrus as soon as possible, and conceive their own children, so infanticide occurred. But male bonobos are one of the few primates that do not kill infants, because female bonobos also did something to their ovulation period. Like humans, female bonobos also chose to conceal their ovulation, but their way of concealing ovulation is really impressive. Female bonobos do not hide their estrus signs, but show them almost most of the time, which is promiscuity. Female bonobos' genitals are often swollen, even if they are not actually ovulating. This is like those clickbait titles, which have little value in content, but because of the title information, many people click on them. Similarly, many male bonobos are also deceived, but they do not know it. Then an interesting scene appears. Female bonobos say, "I am in estrus, but do you guess if I ovulated?" When the child is born, female bonobos say you kill it. Anyway, it's your child. Let's talk about it. If you are a male bonobos, can you do it? Of course, for modern society, this trick of bonobos does not work. These are some of the hypotheses currently in the scientific community. There is still no conclusion as to why humans can estrus anytime and anywhere, but one undeniable point is that humans can have sweet and beautiful love now, and it must have a lot to do with females hiding their ovulation. And that's a wrap for this episode of the video. I'm Dr. Red Panda. If any of you have your own perspectives, or if you think there are any errors in the video, feel free to leave a comment in the discussion section. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Until next time, take care.